Stopping the flow, ages 5 and up. Anthony's family lives on the edge of the Mopan River in Belize. His mom sent him to empty out the garbage in a drum outside of the house. When he arrives there, he realizes the bin is overflowing. Knowing his mom will not be happy if he returns with the garbage, he decides to empty it out in the river. A loud voice startles him. Anthony, what on earth are you doing, child? Under the blistering sun, Mr. Eddy comes floating down in his canoe with fish flapping in a quick attempt at escape. Anthony, both surprised and happy to see the old fisherman, exclaims, Wow, Mr. Eddy, that's a lot of fish you have there. Mr. Eddy, acknowledging the change of topic, responds, Yes, Anthony, I just came back from fishing on the deep end of the river. What are you doing, Anthony? Does your mom know you're throwing garbage into the river? I was getting rid of the garbage, Mr. Eddy. The drum outside was too full, and I didn't know where else to put it, Anthony defended. But does that mean you had to throw it in the river? Anthony, do you like to swim in the Mupan River? The old man asked as he disembarked from the canoe. Anthony's face brightened. Yes, I like playing in the river with my friends and family on the weekends. And would you rather have garbage around you when swimming or clean flowing water? Mr. Eddy prompted. While Anthony nodded his head in comprehension, the old man continued. You see, if we continue to treat our rivers like our dump sites, we won't have much to look forward to. I will not have where to do my fishing. You will not be able to swim in the river so freely because it will be polluted and unhealthy, and the water will be dirty for washing our clothes and using in our houses. So we need to keep our rivers clean, and you can help by not throwing your garbage in the river. I volunteer with a group that cleans the river's edge every month to ensure that it is healthy for everyone. Anthony curiously asked, Mr. Eddy, how comes you care so much about the river? The retired 60-year-old sighed with a sense of hope. I have been around for too long to know and see what happens to our rivers. When I was a young boy like you, Anthony, my parents came from across the border. Mr. Eddy pointed to the other side of the river. From Guatemala. Belize and Guatemala share this river. When I was a boy like you, no one cared where to put their garbage. Some would burn it, and others would just leave it behind their houses. But every storm that came would wash away the piles of garbage into the rivers. Our little house was along the river's edge, just like yours, and the floods would bring all sorts of garbage into our yard. We wouldn't have clean water for days at a time, and even so, sometimes we would get sick from it. Garbage flows downstream, and even if we pick it up, garbage will flow down to us from those communities across the border. Anthony looked a bit confused at this. So why don't they clean the river too? If the garbage is flowing downstream, aren't we cleaning their garbage? This caught Mr. Eddy by surprise. Amused by this, Mr. Eddy responded, Child, you are too smart for your own good. You are right. We must all work together. Even if it's not our garbage, we should pick it up. And our neighbors carry out cleanup campaigns too. What is a cleanup campaign? Anthony repeated. Mr. Eddy explained. A cleanup campaign is where many members of the community come together to collect litter on the river's edge. We pack them into proper garbage bags and send them off to the waste disposal facility. Anthony's look of confusion remained, alerting Mr. Eddy to continue. Actually, I have pictures. He proceeded to unwrap a makeshift waterproof bag with his phone and started finding pictures. Look, boy, I know you like this. Mr. Eddy scrolled through pictures on his phone of people picking up garbage, laughing, and using rakes to pull floating garbage to the river's edge. Anthony was excited and couldn't wait to tell his parents about it. He asked Mr. Eddy, Well, what about the plastics they cannot reach in the middle of the river? Or on days when no one is there to collect the floating garbage? Mr. Eddy's face gleamed. I'm glad you asked about that, actually. We have this new method of trapping garbage floating down the river, and we learn how to do this from our neighbors in Guatemala. Check this out, Anthony. The Guatemalan government taught us how to design a biobar. This is a long trap made out of loop nets, rope, and plastic soft drink bottles which make it float. It is stretched across the river and stops the downstream flow of garbage, which would eventually reach the sea on our beautiful barrier reef. Mr. Eddie keeps showing pictures to Anthony. It's a hard job to stretch the bio barrier across the river, and it takes many helping hands. Is that you, Mr. Eddie? Exclaimed Anthony ecstatically. In between chuckles, Mr. Eddie agrees. Yes, we stretched the bio barrier 2 weeks ago and had to move around with the canoe. In the shallow areas, we were able to start sorting out the garbage and taking them out of the river. We collected about 20 bags of garbage that day, posted Mr. Eddie. We do this activity once a month. You should come along. I'll tell your parents about it the next scheduled cleanup day, and maybe even they can join. Would you like that? Definitely, assured Anthony. Can I invite some friends to come too? As many helping hands as we can get, agreed Mr. Eddie. Satisfied with the long conversation he had with the young boy, Mr. Eddie reminded, Come on, let's pick this garbage up and take it to the drum across the road. When they finished, Anthony thanked him. See you soon, Mr. Eddie. I can't wait to help in stopping the flow of garbage. The BioBuyer was created through a BioBars pilot project by the Rotary Satellite Club Benque San Ignacio, with guidance from the Guatemala Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources and the collaborative support of Todos por un Mundo Verde and Friends of Conservation and Development. The cleanup campaigns align with the End Plastic Soup initiative from the Rotary Clubs of Amsterdam. Details on this story were obtained from the Rotary Satellite Club Benque San Ignacio in Belize, and photograph courtesy is given to the Rotary Satellite Club Benque San Ignacio and the Rotaract Club of Benque Viejo.